Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager here, and a Happy New Year to you. I'm actually not even wishing people Happy New Year. I am now at the point of writing back in texts and emails, I wish you a better New Year. Say I'm a father. Leftists think it's wrong to say I am a father. So in my case, I'm a father of 2 sons. I would have to say I am a parent of 2 children. Get it? So yes, child. Oh yes. So do you have any brothers or sisters? No. I have 1 sibling. And so on and so forth. I love the one where you can't say brother-in-law or sister-in-law, you can say sibling-in-law. I'm going to refer to my sister-in-law from now on as my sibling-in-law. She won't know what I'm talking about for good reason. Now, here is the danger. Liberals, now specifically liberals will dismiss this as trivial. That's the point. Liberals don't agree with this. This is a left-wing position. But liberals don't care. So they let the left get away with everything it wants. The liberals don't understand that conservatives are their allies, not the left. This is the greatest single mistake in contemporary life. Liberals, who often have wonderful values, don't understand that it's us conservatives, or it's we conservatives, who protect their values, like free speech, racial integration, etc. Liberals don't think it's wrong to say I'm a father. Leftists think it's wrong to say I am a father. But what do liberals do? They say, no big deal. Antifa destroys cities. Okay. They got carried away. They're a minority. There's always an excuse for the left on the part of the liberal. Always. I mean, always. I know of no exception. There is really nothing the left could do that would render a liberal less likely or certainly decided not to vote Democrat. It would not happen. So deep is the brainwash that the right is their enemy, not the left. That's what it means. So let me tell you what price is paid. So I'll dedicate this to the liberal viewer, and for all of you for that matter. Is this a big deal? Am I making a mountain out of a molehill that you can no longer say father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter in the U.S. House of Representatives if this passes? Well, this is a tragedy. The human species is composed of men and women. This is not anti-transgender. You consider yourself, you're biologically male and think you're a woman. You look like a woman, dress like a woman, talk like a woman, have a woman's name. I will refer to you as a woman. I don't have an issue with that. It's none of my business what your private parts are or what your chromosomes are. I understand that. That has nothing to do with this. The transgender man, of course, says man, or father or son. That's the irony. They most affirm a gender identity. This is for the non-binary. Do you know any non-binary people? Do you? Anyone who identifies as neither? They exist, but they are spectacularly rare. Far rarer than transgender, who are very rare. So this has nothing to do with non-binary people in the U.S. Congress, of whom there are 0. This has to do with being woke. This has to do with the chaos that the left wishes, consciously or unconsciously, to create in society. Tear down everything. That's what it amounts to. And you know who I feel the worst for? Young people. To think that you would grow up in a world where there are no men and women, only people. There are no mothers and fathers, only parents. No sons and daughters, only children. What a poorer world It was one of the most exciting things to me growing up, that I'm a boy. What are these girls about? What is girl? It was like, whoa, what's a girl? And a girl thinking, oh, boys. What are boys about? What is that like? It was exciting. It was frightening. It was for many nerve-wracking, but it was so much part. It's so part of life. Something so rich in life, as men and women, male and female, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, is now being stripped away. And I feel for young people. I feel for young people on so many grounds. You're not really American. You're not really a Christian. You're not really a Jew. You're a black or a white. Like that matters. You realize all important distinctions have been destroyed and the trivial distinction has been made important? It's important to be a member of your nation. It's important to be a member of a religion. It's unbelievably unimportant what color you are. It's the least important thing about you. And finally, another terrible thing about what it is to be young today is the left is destroying your past and destroying your future. Your past, if you're American, or any group, but especially American, your past, if you're American, is awful, and your future is even awfuler, because climate change is an existential threat to your life, which is not true. I've been hearing that it's an existential threat now for 30 years. Every 30 years, every 12 years, in 12 years it'll be too late. Then 12 years passes, very little actually happens. 12 years, it'll be too late. So if you're a young person, you have no past to identify with, and your future is utterly bleak. All courtesy of the woke, the left. Okie doke. Let's go to your questions. And here we go with number one.
Hi, Mr. Prager. My name is Grayson, and I am a 21-year-old Prager Force member from Plano, Texas. In the midst of these ongoing lockdowns and overreaching government mandates, it seems evident that Americans no longer value their freedoms to the point that we once did. Too many have just gone along to get along without any sort of resistance at all. How can we impart the love of freedom and the values of liberty to more people across the country? Thank you.
Yes, my friend, this is one of the most depressing things in my life as an American. That's my column. I hope you will all read it. Hope you read my column every week. It's up at my website. It's up at Town Hall. It's up at Daily Wire. It's up at American Greatness, Jewish World Review. So anywhere, I don't care where you read it, as long as you do. And it is exactly about this subject, how sad it has been to me, the acceptance by so many Americans of the curtailing of their liberties, all, of course, in the name of safety. It's an interesting false god, the safety god. It's an interesting one. In the ancient world, every culture had child sacrifice or virgin sacrifice, human sacrifice. We think that we are way advanced, but we're not. In the name of safety, the God of safety, the number of lives sacrificed, the number of livelihoods certainly sacrificed is staggering. Oh, it's not safe to open your restaurant. If it's not safe to open a restaurant, don't go. Nobody's forcing anybody to go to a restaurant. Don't go. If you believe you'll die or might die if you go to a restaurant, don't go. But to deprive people of a livelihood, And again, you say, well, they don't die. They bring home the virus from the restaurant, which will kill Grandpa. So sit with Grandpa outside. That's it. Or, by the way, if masks are so effective, just talk to Grandpa with a mask on. But, hey, I am a grandpa, and let me tell you something. I don't want everybody younger than me to have no life because of the God of safety. You deserve a life. I'm prepared to take the risk of dropping dead from COVID so that you actually have a life, okay? And I speak on behalf of the great majority of people my age, believe it or not. More young people are scared out of their minds than old people. That's the irony. Because you've only experienced being scared by the media. It is astonishing that people have accepted no liberty in their lives during this period. That government would take away so many of their rights. But I live in California where there are virtually no rights, and I went to visit my son in Florida. And I went to give some speeches for PragerU. I went to Turning Point USA. By the way, you should watch my talk at Turning Point USA a couple of weeks ago. It's on the internet. And it was to thousands of young people. I really would like you to watch that speech. And then pass it along, please. It's really important, in my opinion, to hear. So now Snoopy is visiting Otto. You see what I mean? Oh, this is a great moment in fireside chat history. You're seeing the brothers loving each other up. This doesn't end, by the way. Generally speaking, once one of them starts grooming the other, the other will actually move away because their hair is starting to be removed by the other's tongue. Well done, Snoop. Very nice. He's made his debut. It's not his debut, right? He's been on before. Yeah, almost. It's a semi-debut. Everything good, Otto? The response to my saying Otto is very moving to me. I could have said checkerboard and got the same response. You have to understand, Otto, I relate to Otto. Otto has an ability to stay calm and cool through everything. And I sort of have that. That's my nature, too. It's a blessing to have that nature, by the way. You know what I should talk about? I think I did, though, right? Nature. The natures we're given. Mm-hmm. What was that? Number what? I don't remember what number, but it's a very important thing to know what your nature is and then battle it the rest of your life. That's pretty much the way it works. All right. Yes, the ability. And there's so much terrible going on. Not only the loss of freedom. I mean, the snitching. Was it Eric Garcetti, the mayor of Los Angeles, actually said people should snitch on their neighbors. And there's a viral video of it happening in Quebec. 6 people gathered for New Year's. 6 people in an apartment. Somebody snitched. They were arrested. Amazing. Antifa could commit all this violence. Nobody gets arrested. But if you have a New Year's Eve party in your own apartment with 6 people, then people get arrested. It's a very dark time in that way. All right, Grayson, thank you. Gwendolyn, 23 years old, Kelso, Missouri. Hi, Dennis, Otto, and Megan. All right, Megan. She's still not ahead of Otto, but she's up there, you got to admit. And it's more than your arm.
It is.
Yeah. No, it's now all of Megan. I watched your speech for Turning Point. Oh, perfect. For Turning Point's Student Action Summit, and I absolutely loved it. Please see it. I also loved your camera. Now you're talking. It's very touching that you noticed. Yeah, I brought the camera onto the stage to take a picture of the audience. Why not? Right? I mean, I want memories too. You, Sebastian Gorka, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Don Jr., etc., were all so passionate about what you stand for. It is hard to find anyone who's passionate about anything anymore, and that's very sad. I have a comment on that. How can people become passionate about anything again when they've never felt it? God bless you all. So, you know, I could do a whole opening thing on passion. So you're going to find this, Megan, you're going to love this story. So listen to this. This is an insight into how I have tried to make my life happy. So when I was dating in my 20s, does everybody know what dating is? Okay, because it's not used as much now, I know. Anyway, so I would date. I went on dates when I was 20. Some dates were boring. I mean, everybody has that. Some dates were boring. So what did I do about that? I made a very interesting decision. I decided that the next time I'm with a boring date, I am going to try to figure out, why do I find this person boring? So I made boring dates fascinating for me, because I was like an anthropologist with a tribe of boring people. Why are they boring? And it was very interesting. I came to a number of conclusions, but the biggest was she had no passion. Nothing really mattered that much to her. Yes, she liked movies, or she would talk about her favorite movie or favorite food, but that's not the same thing. And I'm passionate about a lot, as you probably know. And that really struck me. And do you know what? I don't have a great answer for you. If you have a nature that is not passionate about anything, how do you gain one? So here is my fear. I think that most religious people have a built-in passion. They're passionate about their religion. The Bible, their religion, their church, their synagogue, their church or synagogue study group. They have a lot that gives them passion. Their faith does. That's pretty universal among truly religious people. Secular people don't have that. But they want to be passionate about something. So that explains a tremendous amount of what we're seeing now. Anti-racism, quote unquote, has become the passion. So anti-racism is the passion. And it fills their somewhat empty soul, which has been emptied because of secularism. Secularism is great for government and terrible for everything else, as I've said all of my life. And they've filled the lack of passion with this passion. And you see it, they're just screaming, they're screaming. I mean, the very fact that this is meaningful, we won't say daughter or son or father or mother. It's like artificial passion. Leftism is artificial passion. It's an interesting new term that I would use for it. So yes, it's a very significant issue you touched upon. Laurie, 58, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Not only have I been to Winnipeg on a number of occasions giving their lecture, but I even remember that the windiest street corner in Canada is Portage and Main in Winnipeg. Bet you that moved you, Laurie. Hi, my husband and I started watching your fireside chats when the lockdown hit Canada last March. Oh, thank God for the lockdown. We enjoy watching you and Otto every week. You hear that, Oh? Is he moved?
Deeply.
In his usual way. Yeah, he's moved. Our conservative premier, that is the premier in Canada, it's by province. So America, it's states with governors, and in Canada, it's provinces with premiers. Our conservative premier, Brian Pallister, has the province of Manitoba in what appears to be the toughest lockdown in Canada. I did not know that. Tougher than Quebec? Whoa. He declared certain items non-essential. Therefore, my elderly father could not walk into a store to buy a toaster, but we had to buy it online and wait a week for curbside pickup. People are dying buying toasters. I totally get it. Yesterday, my husband tried to go to Lowe's to buy a new window blind. However, that aisle was all taped off, as our premier decided this too was a non-essential item. This is crazy what we're living through. What do you think is driving, great question, what do you think is driving politicians to not just crash our economies, but burden us with loony restrictions? Stores have actually been fined for selling non-essential items. Thanks. Okay. I've been asking myself this too, because this is not only, it's in America, there's a big division between Republican governors and Democratic governors. But around the world, like in Manitoba, conservatives, or the UK with Boris Johnson, who originally did not want lockdown and then fell apart, and now it's got a huge lockdown. Israel, India, these are right-wing governments, and terrible, unbelievably catastrophic lockdowns. So here's my theory. Number one, I don't know if there are two theories I have. I don't know which order. I don't know which is more important than the other. But here they are, in no order. Nobody wants to take the risk of being a leader as a result of whose policies a lot of his fellow citizens died. There is a lack of courage that is an animating issue, left or right. That's they don't want the dead on their beat, as it were, on their watch. Number two, they are all well-educated, these leaders, and they have imbibed the religion of experts. Experts say, and then they genuflect. Experts say. What does that mean? Why do experts have wisdom? Experts have expertise. Expertise doesn't tell you what to do. Expertise tells you information. That's all it has. The record of wisdom from the expert community is very low, very, very low. That's why many years ago, the great American conservative thinker William F. Buckley said something to the effect, I'd rather be governed by the first 1,000 names in the Boston phone book than by 1,000 Harvard professors. Why did that resonate with people? Because they don't associate Harvard professors with wisdom, only with expertise. Yes, if I want to know how cells work, I will go to a biologist. If I want to know whether to have a lockdown, I have no interest in going to a biologist. I will hear his information, but why do I assume he's wise? And what about all the epidemiologists, many, and other scientists who have been totally opposed to lockdowns? They get no hearing. Is that Brata? I mean, is that Snoopy? Well, there you go. Today you have not only seen Snoopy, you have heard Snoopy in the background. I think that's a big part of what is animating those two things. They're afraid to have people die on their watch, and the religion of experts say. It's the number of crushed lives because of this economic lockdown. It breaks my heart, the number of people who've lost their livelihoods, the number of people who have gone on drugs, the number of spouses or children abused because people are home too much. Every indicator of pathology in society has increased because of the lockdown. And I'm not even sure it saved any lives. That's the ultimate irony You know what would save lives? A lot more lives? Early intervention when people are symptomatic. That's what would have done it. That would have been infinitely more productive than ruining untold people's lives with lockdowns. I assume we're at our time. Yes, indeed. It's a wrap. Thank you for being with me. I will be with you next week on behalf of Otto. Be well.